Did you get your stickers this week? Give her a sticker.
Stick it right on her butt.
Ooh.
No. I mean the small head sewn onto a bigger torso. I guarantee you they just did that for laughs. Like the dude did it and then he called it his buddies. They all got shit-faced and played poker, and they set that thing next to him, and it was one of the poker players. I guarantee it. Small face McGee just made another dumb bet. Why do we need to know what kind of USB drive it was?
Oh,
it could have been a fucking dildo for all I care.
Just okay, hold on. A dildo with its a USB drive? Think this through.
Oh, I have one.
You have a dildo with a USB drive on it?
Yeah. Doesn't everybody? Yeah, it's my emotional support animal, right? It falls under the category of animal.
If he has a stroke, the alligator goes into action.
You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Saturday, September 30th, 7:40 in the evening. I think everybody can breathe a sigh of relief. The government has passed a bill to keep going for another 45 days. Fitz, let's give him a big round of applause. Everybody out there.
I was applauding. Sorry, I had myself muted, but I really was applauding. Because you know why, McShane? Because you know why? Because our government, it does such an amazing, just knock down, drag out, amazing job at everything that it does. I mean, basically anything the government touches turns to gold.
Absolutely.
And so I feel saved now that we have another 45 days of their excellence.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Ukraine's going to get some money, and the border's not. And yeah, it's awesome. So hats off to us. Another, you know what? This first beer. You know what? My side bitch beer. Okay. And this is Kung F-U, Kung Fuck You. It's got Bruce Lee on the front of it. It's a rice lager. Does. This one's for our government right here.
Bam. Bam.
Nice 4.7 ABV on that, baby. They deserve that. Job well done, guys.
They deserve all 4.7 of that.
All right. We've got that out of the way. We have to bring up what Jamal Bowman did later just because he's an idiot.
Is he an idiot, or is this like planned, incompetence?
Well, we'll get into it.
That needs to be a new segment of the show. We just
planned
need to call
incompetence.
No, we need to call it like asshole or incompetent. And then we just rate people, different senators, different actors, different media people. Asshole. Are you just an asshole all the time, or are you just incompetent all the time?
I love that. That has to be a new segment.
And this will be our first night of it, because he's, I don't know. There's a debate to be made on both sides of that argument. Maybe he's both. I don't know.
So Aaron's already chimed in with, I think wank stain is more fitting.
Wank stain.
Wank
Nice
stain.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Big thank you to Aaron and Joe and Elle for being in chat tonight. We appreciate you guys jumping in here and giving us what for as we go around the robin of all the ridiculousness that was this week. Again, we're all about the narratives and calling out the bullshit and trying to look at things a little bit. Just give everything the side eye. I think that's the thing we're trying to do.
The side eye, the stink eye. How about the one-eyed Jack?
The one-eyed Jack.
You know, that's what my mom used to call the cat's asshole. Was the one-eyed Jack?
Really?
Every time the cat would, cats, they jump up on you and then if they're
in your face.
If they're content with you, they turn and you get to see the one-eyed Jack. My mom always used to call it that, and I never thought it was funny until I got older, and I was like, that's actually hilarious. So, good job, Mom.
I've never heard of anybody naming their cat's asshole before. I've heard naming them assholes.
Yeah, oh yeah, right.
But you may have just named the show in the first 4 minutes that we were on. So
excellent. Yeah, because this whole show is going to be a cat's asshole.
Yeah. Hey, Hefe, you just jumped on. Have you ever named your cat's asshole?
No, I name them like normal names.
Okay.
Oh,
you mean have I?
Like Bobby?
Yeah. Wait, are you asking me if I've named them asshole or if I named their asshole?
The physical part of their anatomy.
Yeah, the anus.
Yeah, the anus, the cat's anus.
You give that a name?
My mom did. My mom did.
Sorry.
My mom called the cat's asshole one-eyed Jack, like that, like when they turn and they just show you the. I can't believe we're still talking about this. We have actual people listening to this live, and I'm sorry. Hefe, how is your night going?
Really slow so far.
Slow and stupid?
Yeah. People are stupid.
Well, I don't know if you've heard the good news, Hefe.
No. Give me good news.
The good news is that our amazing government, which is not slow and stupid, has been magically refunded for another 45 days. Isn't that great?
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
45 days. All right, cool.
45 whole days. Yep. It's going to be
good shit.
One. Yep. It's going to be amazing.
What was the alternative?
Shutting down and not paying anybody and just complete and absolute fuckery.
And what would that look like?
Well, it would have fucked with my trip. That's for one goddamn thing.
Yeah, because you're going to a national park, right? You're going to try and go to Yosemite.
Yeah, I was going to go try and watch. I was going to go and try and check out one of God's amazing creations. And if they'd shut this thing down, I wouldn't have been able to go.
Hey, Half Dome truly is. It should be one of like the 8 wonders of the world, or 7, or however many there are. It should be one of them. Because
I would have been really pissed, though. I mean, that would have been. I told you guys that was not. I was.
Oh yeah, I would have been pissed too. I would have been pissed for you. But outside of that, Hefe, I can't really tell you. I mean, because I don't think, some soldier, standing on a wall somewhere is going to be like looking at his watch and be like, well, I'm not getting paid, so I'm out. Like, I think people would just keep doing their jobs, and I think the mail would still get delivered on Monday. I don't know. I remember the last big government shutdown I know we had one in 2018, but I don't really remember anything going wrong then. But there was one in I think the early 2000s. But that one I remember, like it went long enough that the mail stopped getting delivered for a little while.
I think that one didn't that one go 35 days or something?
Yeah, it went a while. But otherwise, Hefe, I don't think anything changes. I think people still get paid. You know what's stupid is, all these senators that show up and they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to take a paycheck until we get this thing resolved. Actually, by law, like the Constitution says the senators have to get paid. So like you can say you're not going to take the paycheck, but they're still going to pay you. It's not like you're saving the American taxpayer any money.
The direct deposit's still going to go in. The federal government is not going to get paid. Social Security, offices that send out checks are not going to happen. All this kind of lovely stuff that actually does need to happen won't. So that's really what happens during the shutdowns.
Huh.
But yeah, the last one was in 2018. Yeah, 35 days.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know that I really remember that one being a big deal, but that seems to be the longest one, huh? 35 days.
Yeah. I don't remember it. I don't know what I was doing in 2018. I think I don't know. Kids who were like 11, 12.
Isn't that like very telling? Like, we don't really even notice when when our own government shuts down. We're like, I kind of remember it, but wasn't that big of a deal.
So on our Twitter feed, I mean, the algorithm, the For You and X, the comments of not another dime, let it shut down. I mean, it was evident that people are fucking done.
Yep.
And I don't know. Okay, my trip would have been interrupted. I would have driven around it, and that would have been just fine. And I would have sat back and laughed. That's what would have happened if that had happened.
Well, what a great story to tell the grandkids. Yeah,
that's right.
It doesn't.
All right.
Yeah, but I think one of you guys said this week, they'd probably still find a way to get money to Ukraine.
Oh yeah. No, they absolutely came out and said Ukraine will still be funded.
Blatantly.
Their government pensions will still completely get funded.
That's a release.
Right?
That's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. All right, so we've killed the government. All right. Oh geez, we still have to get into beers. Let's do asshole or incompetent while Hefe's here.
Okay.
All right.
This is a new game we're playing, Hefe.
Yeah. Explain it to him, because you just came up with this on the fly.
Okay, so we had what was his name? Bowman.
Yeah, Jamal Bowman.
Jamal Bowman. I don't know if you heard about this, Hefe, but he pulled the fire alarm at the U.S. Capitol building. He says he thought it was to open the door, but really, from 30,000 feet, we're all looking at it going, he was doing it to delay the fucking vote and to cause confusion for the vote for the government shutdown, to refund the government. It was clearly done as a distraction. And so there's an argument out there. You could be like, okay, he's just an asshole. He pulled it on purpose, and then he's playing stupid. Or you could be like, okay, if you're that much of an idiot that you think that pulling a fire alarm will open the door, or pulling any lever will open a door, like, that's not how doors work, you fucking moron.
And it wasn't like it was an ADA thing where there's trying to open a door for somebody who's handicapped.
Well, right, and those are push buttons. Like, you can push those. You don't pull anything.
He did it on purpose to delay the vote. He's a dick. He's a socialist, Democrat from New York. He's a fuckstick.
Yep.
Why did he want to delay the vote?
Because he wanted the government shutdown.
He wanted everything to go their way.
Just because the Republicans are in control and it would make them look bad?
Well, the big thing was the Republicans are saying, look, you don't want the government to shut down, then stop funding Ukraine. That was kind of their hard and fast line, which we haven't heard if that was maintained or not. I don't know if that was maintained or not. But either way, they were saying, nope, you stop funding Ukraine or the government's going to shut down. And he was throwing a hissy fit. He wanted to keep funding Ukraine for whatever reason. Who knows what kind of kickbacks he's getting. So he pulled a fire alarm. Because he's a Democratic stooge. Yeah. So the game is he a asshole or is he incompetent?
Can we do both?
That's what I said earlier too. It's exactly what I said. Yes. Okay, I think we have a winner. I think he's both.
He's just both. Our very first one is going to be both.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
All right.
Just look at him. Smug asshole.
Well, I think this was. I mean, that was it. It was a press opportunity. It was a photo op. It was calculated. Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. It's just absolute bullshit. But this is the juvenile shenanigans that these guys are going to go ahead and put effort in, rather than actually working on governing the fucking country.
You know what I've decided? I think one of the prerequisites to being a senator is you have to, well, I guess any politician at like a certain level. Like, I don't think, city council members, although some of them that I've met are like in this category, but definitely like, national level. You have to be emotionally arrested on some level in order to even qualify to be a senator. Like, you had to have been molested or beaten or neglected or had everything given to you on a silver spoon, so you never had to like actually work through anything, because they are acting like children.
Yeah, they
do act like children. I mean, I don't think it's been since, I'm going to say, my lifetime, probably the 70s, since we've seen senators actually be able to go into a room and speak to each other like adults and hash shit out. It's been at least that long.
It's getting worse. There's no effort being put in anymore. But this week though too, they did figure out the whole dress code thing. So they came to a consensus that everybody has to dress like an adult. And Fetterman, unless he's on the floor speaking, he will vote from the cloakroom in, I don't know, his underwear this week, whatever it is. But these are the things that they're actually being worked on. So that's good. That's really nice.
What is the justification for allowing that? I mean, does he have a physical handicap that he can't get out of his hoodie or something?
Are we talking about version 1 or version 2?
Well, either of them. They're both big dumb animals. They're both. It's remarkable that they found somebody that is like just as big and dumb as the original Fetterman to take his place. But yeah, okay. Let's just say version 2. Let's say the new iteration, Fetterman 2.0. Is he physically unable to get out of a hoodie?
I don't know. I mean, I like to wear basketball shorts too, but I don't wear them to work. So I don't know if it's a thing. Maybe he just doesn't get it. It's cool.
I just don't. I mean, you can't. I mean, look, I've been in the Big and Tall store when we were all getting fitted for suits for your wedding, McShane.
Yeah.
Greg was there. You guys had to be in the Big and Tall section. I know they make shit big enough.
Oh yeah. I was in the Big and Tall today picking up some stuff for this trip, and you could totally do that. It's not a big deal.
So that's like that's not an excuse. So I would really like someone. Please help me understand why he can't dress up, or at least be presentable. I'd even be fine if he showed up in dance club casual, like a nice button-up shirt that was untucked. I'd be like, okay, he's bringing in his own style, but I can deal with that. But a fucking hoodie and basketball shorts, it's clown world. It's totally clown world.
Not everybody can look as good as Jamal Bowman.
Well, he does look nice. That's a nice tie.
It's a nice suit. It's a nice weave.
I couldn't pull it off, but he, because my skin's too light. Like, my skin is as light as his tie.
Right.
So it would just wash me out. I'm already pink enough. Like, I have to wear dark ties.
So the beer that I've got, it has a wax top on it. And so if you hear me struggling with it over here and gasping for air, that's why.
Dude, I think I have actual scars on my hands from trying to, I'll use a knife to try and get that wax off of there. I have actual scars from cutting myself.
I should just light it on fire.
I did. I said wax off, wax on, wax off.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi, that shit.
Yep.
I gotta go.
All right, Hefe, thanks for starting the show with us, man.
Yeah, man, that was good.
All right.
See you in a bit.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Fitz, what are you drinking over there, huh?
Okay, so I personally had so much fun a couple of weeks ago when I had that unlabeled beer, and we had to guess. We had to try and figure out what I was drinking. That I decided, I decided to hatch this harebrained idea. My wife is really good at picking out beers for me. She always does a great job. So I said, babe, once a week, one of my beers is going to be something that you have picked out for me, and then we'll wrap the can, or you'll just pour the beer for me, and I won't know what it is, and then we'll have to try and figure it out on the show live.
Okay, all right.
So we're gonna try it out. This could be a complete failure because that first one was just kind of it just kind of happened on the fly. This is planned, and so it might be a complete failure, but we'll see. All we're gonna know is the brewery. Okay.
All right. So what is it?
Okay, so it poured light, so it's definitely like a in the IPA farmhouse genre. It poured a light honey, not even honey. It's lighter than that. It was more of like a straw yellow, but a little cloudy. So that may be a clue to where we're going here. The brewery is New Belgium. So I don't know if maybe we're looking at a 60-minute, a 90-minute. I don't know. But it came in a can, and I think most of the 60 and 90-minute, that's all in a bottle.
No, those are that's Dogfish Head for 60 and 90
Oh,
minutes.
right. You're right. All right. Well, this is New Belgium, not Dogfish Head. You're right. My bad. Right. So that's all I know here. I'm gonna take a sip. Definitely. Okay, I'm getting pineapple. I'm getting. Oh, that's good. Pineapple, a little bit of hoppy, not a lot. Definitely not in the atomic. I could be one of the atomic, not the atomic, the Voodoo Ranger series. Some of those get a little, lighter.
Would you call it a hazy, or would you call it? Is it more of an ale?
It poured more hazy.
I don't know.
Poured more hazy. It's definitely not the Atomic Pumpkin. I know that beer.
And is it sweet?
It's a little sweet. It's a fruity IPA. That's where I'm going with this. It's a fruity IPA.
Okay, so it's not a triple then.
No. Nope. Definitely not in the. It's definitely not a high ABV. All right, I'm gonna unsheath the can here.
All right,
see what we got.
I'm gonna go Juicy Haze IPA.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of leaning to. All right, it's definitely in the Voodoo Ranger family. It is the Fruit Force Fruit Punch IPA. Boom.
What?
Boom. Okay. Yeah, definitely a fruity IPA. I don't remember this one. I've had this one before. I don't remember it having so much pineapple to it, but I definitely taste it now. And I was wrong. This is a 9.5%er. So yeah, there it was. That Fruit Force, that blue one.
This one?
Really, yeah.
Okay.
There it is. Really,
I've never heard
very
that
good.
One.
Oh, really? Very good IPA. Excellent.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, not for any of you who are like, oh, all IPAs suck. You haven't had this one, because there's hardly any skunk to it. There's no bitterness. It's not piney. It's just fruity, and it is a 9.5%er. So it does the job, and it's an enjoyable drink. So, all right, pretty good. I'm not gonna say I nailed it, but I definitely knew we were in the fruity IPA realm.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's one I've never seen before, so that's definitely pretty cool.
Oh, I highly recommend it. What are you drinking?
So I have another one of the Pujalas. I think I'm pronouncing it right. In fact, this is the one here. It's a cognac. It's a barrel-aged imperial porter. It's 11%. Yeah, it's a cognac, sherry, and Islay whiskey barrel-aged imperial porter. Pours it pours like a porter. No head, just there. Not a lot of nose to it. Fruity, sweet, Get a lot of cognac.
Mm.
A little bit of whiskey at the end. And yeah, that's interesting. I don't know about the poached pears, but this is definitely a winter beer.
Any of the smokiness at all?
There's a little bit of smoke to it at the very front end. Not a lot. It's not overpowering, so I can't call it a smoke beer. But it kind of sets up the fruitiness because you get the smoke and then it slides off to the fruitiness, and then you go right into the barrel.
Mm.
And wow, that's I might have referred to this on the show before. I'm pretty sure I have. This is a nipple sucking beer.
Okay. Please define a nipple sucking beer.
It's mouth watering. You just want to put something else in your mouth, and yet that's where I automatically think to go. That's what. Wow, this beer, nipples. That's where I go with it.
Okay, so speaking of nipples, I saw the weirdest setup to a porn earlier in the week.
Okay,
here's the setup. Is stepmom comes in to the bedroom, and the stepdaughter is she's sitting on her bed. She has her shirt on, but she's pulled her tits out. They're just out, but the shirt's still on.
Because that's what you do. I get it.
Yeah, right.
I would do the same.
And of course, the stepmom comes in wearing lingerie, right? I mean, it's like it's bedtime, it's night time, it's sexy time, whatever. She comes in, she goes, "Oh, honey, are you okay?" Which I'm not sure that's the first question I would ask, but and the stepdaughter's like, "Oh no, I'm not. I had this energy drink and my chest is just so hot." And so of course then the stepmom has to feel with her hands, has to feel how hot.
You're on fire.
And she's like, yeah, so she gets the digital thermometer. She's like, "It's 105 on your chest." And so then of course things get more fun from there. But I just thought, man, somebody literally sitting around in a room somewhere and like, okay, how are we going to start this thing out? It's going to be a lesbian. It's a stepmom, stepdaughter. How do we get hands on tits? Well, her tits have a fever, of course, because of something she drank. I thought it was brilliant. I mean, it did the job for me. I was like, dude, I am so into this. Oh, shit. Anyway.
So she didn't break out some ice or anything to like bring her down?
Oh, she went and got, okay. So she went and got a wet cloth.
Yeah, you can't leave our listeners hanging.
She went and got a wet cloth. And then, of course, that made everything shiny and pretty.
Right.
And then as she was, cooling things off, the stepdaughter was like, "Oh, I feel like every time you touch me, I feel a burning sensation in my pussy." And she's like, "Really?" The stepmom was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Really? Like it's that easy?" And then the eyes meet and then they kiss and then off we go. Great scene, by the way. I don't know really how you would look that up for any of our curious listeners, but just start with tits on fire. Oh shit. Anyway, we have some news to hit.
Let's get into some of our news now. Chicago's mayor has hired a private security firm to make sure that the illegal aliens, the immigrants, I can't even say illegal anymore because it's not. No. We're letting them in. We've condoned it. It's fine.
Right.
The migrants have come into Chicago, and Mayor Brandon Johnson, the same guy who wants to start supermarkets run by the government, has decided that $29.4 million should be put towards camp cities for migrants.
When you sent this article earlier in the week and you were like, "Hey, now we know what those FEMA camps were for." At first I was like, "Oh, dude, that's funny." But actually, the more I thought about it, like my smile just kind of like turned into a, oh shit, like that's exactly what these camps are. It's the old FEMA, COVID. I mean,
yeah.
What the fuck, man? This is some harebrained shit. Like, again, we're talking about people sitting around a table, and like, how are we going to solve this problem? And maybe this would be an option that would be thrown out, but the fact that this is the best they can come up with, and this is what they're going to go with, I can't believe this shit. And the private security firm, what happened to the police? Are we just going to hire Blackwater to come in and control our cities now?
That's what this is. Yes. Now that isn't that like that it's like a gateway drug to having your own personal Gestapo. Now, this I have on the screen right now. This is the yurt. Okay.
Yeah, yurts are great.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. And so these are going to go ahead and be sprung up all over Chicago, or it's probably going to be concentrated in one small area. And they're going into winter.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I will say the yurts, they come from, that's a funny word to say, but they come from like, the northern steppes up there in Mongolia. So they know cold, they know winter. That shit'll keep you warm. But still, like, okay, here's what I'm going to propose. These we start having these yurt cities, right? These yurt towns, whatever you want to call them. I think that the sports teams in those towns should have to start to reflect what's actually happening. So now instead of the Chicago Cubs, they need to be the Chicago Yurts. Yeah.
I love this.
And the Bears can become like the Chicago, projects or slums or whatever, however else they're going to house, everybody else.
Oh, in chat, Aaron, that is going to be about as useful as sandpaper rubber.
Exactly.
Joe, exactly. Everyone can get naked and produce body heat. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yep.
And I didn't realize the Bears are looking to leave Chicago. That's yikes. Well, the stadium, I love the stadium, the history, but
oh yeah, dude, I was in the old Soldier Stadium.
That's not good. Yeah,
I saw a Bears game in the old Soldier Stadium. That was amazing.
So this is a serious look at post-apocalyptic Chicago, because you're going to get all these tent cities out there, and everybody's going to wander down to the government grocery, which may or may not have food. When Russia did this, they didn't have food.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how'd that work out for the bread lines in Russia? Yeah,
worked out phenomenal.
Yeah.
But this is where we're going, though. It is so bent on communism, and it's so blatant. It's just unreal. And this company, Garda World, is shady as fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, they are.
So
100%. Isn't Garda isn't one of their subsidiaries the people who do the armored car?
Yes.
Garda does all the they go to Walmart and pick up their cash every day with the rent-a-cops.
Yeah, and they're also really, really bad at keeping their vehicles up. All the safety is terrible. I mean, these guys are bad. So the thing that I want to know is how much money is actually going back into Johnson's pocket.
I think it would be a shell game to find out, but I'm willing to bet the rest of the beer in my cup that it's a significant amount. It's more than you and I have ever made.
All right.
It really does pay. It really does pay to be like a crooked asshole.
Yeah.
Like if you just show up, we kind of tackled this a little bit when we talked about the movie Falling Down earlier in the week, but if you just show up and you do what's expected of you, what society wants from you, go to school, graduate high school, either go to college or, start a trade, learn something, learn a skill, pay your taxes, take out the trash, have some kids. If you do all of those things, at the end of the day, you get fucked. I mean, we're seeing this the fastest growing homeless population is the baby boomers.
Yeah.
I mean, those people all played by the rules, and now they're getting fucked for it, like proper, like, and it's like it almost encourages you to like, I mean, let's take a page out of Tarantino's book. Let's go Natural Born Killers or fucking Reservoir Dogs or some shit. Like, let's rob a jewelry store, or let's break into, State Street or BlackRock and steal some fucking bonds or something. I don't know. Matt could tell me this shit. I don't know.
Everybody's working on like Philly though. I mean, you got to get some Apple products. You got to steal some alcohol. We got to get some rioting going over there first. And I forgot.
True.
This is Brandon Johnson is the same guy who said that riots aren't riots; they're large gatherings.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They're just I wonder how he feels about that now. Hiring a private security firm.
Well, he can just order him to do whatever he wants, apparently. The footage that's coming out of New York is insane.
Oh, it's insane.
And I like how everybody's making it out to be climate. That's the problem.
Yeah.
How about shitty infrastructure?
Yeah. And well, this type of storm, I mean, there's been like 15 or so storms like this in New York City. 1903 was a really bad one. I mean, like almost half the city had to evacuate in 1903. There was another one in the 20s, the 40s, the 70s. I mean, this happens. It's not climate. It's called weather. And weird weather events like this. I mean, this was a big pocket of moisture. They come up. And so if a city doesn't have the infrastructure to keep up, like you said, I mean, this is the infrastructure. There's nowhere for all this water to go. You put that much concrete in that wide of an area, the water's just going to flow over the top of it. And then people, they want to fabricate that it's the climate crisis. It has nothing to do with that. This is just a really bad storm, a lot of water.
I've got a buddy who's actually in New York right now. And the interesting thing is he's up in more of the financial district area, and there's no flooding there.
Wouldn't you know?
Fine.
Yeah, wouldn't you know? Yeah. Well, this footage was from like what? Brooklyn, Queens.
Yeah.
And you don't see anything coming out of New Jersey.
No.
You're telling me that it didn't rain as hard right across the river?
No. It
rained just as hard. It didn't rain as hard in like you said, in Manhattan proper. How about out on Long Island? Crazy. Crazy. It's more cherry picking.
Oh, it totally is. And if we want to actually argue something, maybe we should argue we shouldn't be seeding clouds. How about that?
I'm all in for that.
This was the little ray of sunshine, I thought.
Agreed.
When the sealions got out and started to take over Central Park Zoo.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the shit out of this.
Oh, me too. No, those things are like the panthers of the sea. I mean, they're like apex predators. I mean, you got sharks that take them out, but if there's no sharks around, like they're it. Sharks and killer
crazy
whales,
as fuck too.
Oh yeah, no, they're super aggressive. That just made me happy. Like, oh look, the water level has risen. We can get out of our fucking enclosure. Let's go. And you can see they're like happy as shit too. They're barking, running around, playing on the rocks.
It's like Waterworld.
It's great.
They've taken over.
Right. Yep.
Very, very strange week. Very strange week. A lot of weird stuff coming out of cities. Weird stuff coming out of just really, really strange. The Canada stuff was nuts too.
I was just going to say, we haven't even got to the really weird shit because we're just talking about our country. Let's talk about Canada.
So Canada has a great appreciation for Nazis. Let's just call it what it is.
Standing O for the Nazis this week from Canada. If any of our listeners, well, no, not if. I know some of our listeners out there are Canadians. And if you people think your government is on the up and up and they're representing you, you better think twice, because I know a lot of Canadians and I know none of them are Nazi sympathizers. But this week, your government did a standing ovation for a documented Nazi. And why they were applauding was because he fought the Russians, which, right. I mean, this just shows how little people know about history. The Russians were our allies in World War II. They took more losses than anybody to fight the Nazis. And yet we're going to forget all of that. They're the big enemy now. And so anybody who fought the now enemy must be my friend, even if they're Nazis. It's fucking insane.
So Canada, the Canadian parliamentarian is apologizing to Jewish communities around the world for a blunder during Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's visit that led to lawmakers honoring a veteran accused of belonging to a Nazi division in World War II. I take exception to how Politico wrote this.
Agreed.
Because he was a fucking Nazi.
Yep.
He was a Nazi.
It's not alleged. It's well documented.
Alleged. It's not. Yeah. And then it followed, and then he also, Politico goes on to say, it followed demands by Canadian Jewish organizations Sunday for an apology after it was revealed members of the parliament across party lines awarded a 98-year-old veteran on Friday with a standing ovation shortly after Zelensky addressed Canada's House of Commons. It followed demands by Canadian Jewish organizations. They capitulated and gave in, and that's why it was done. Not because they should have fucking done it in the first place.
Right. Not because it was the right thing to do, but because people were pissed.
Yaroslav Hunka. I'm sure I'm hacking his name, but I really don't care.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great. No, keep doing it.
98-year-old veteran on Friday. He appeared, he got a salute from the public gallery when he was recognized by the House Speaker Anthony Rota, which I think Rota is the same guy who has actually been, I think he resigned, didn't he? I think that was the guy who resigned.
I think you're right. Yep. Yeah. So it's great that he's saluting. That's well done. Well done.
Now, on top of that, we have this.
Obviously, it's extremely upsetting that this happened. The speaker has acknowledged his mistake and has apologized. But this is something that is deeply embarrassing to the Parliament of Canada and, by extension, to all Canadians. I think particularly of Jewish MPs and all members of the Jewish community across the country who are commemorating Yom Kippur today. I think it's going to be really important that all of us push back against Russian propaganda, Russian disinformation, and continue our steadfast and unequivocal support for Ukraine, as we did last week with announcing further measures to stand with Ukraine in Russia's illegal war against it.
Yeah, so we're sorry for celebrating the old Nazi, but we need to unequivocally, was the word he used, support the new Nazis, which is Ukraine. I mean, that's also well documented, that there's lots of Nazis in Ukraine and they're well funded. And that's who basically their paramilitary groups are, and even some of them in the actual military. It's just so much doublespeak. It's like I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear, like just so you're distracted by.
Well, and then on top of it, he's calling it all Russian propaganda. It's Russian disinformation.
Yes.
No, it's fucking not.
Yeah.
It's fucking history. I know we don't like history. We want to go back and actually rewrite history. We don't want to admit anything that happened. We don't want to acknowledge all the bullshit that happened. We don't want to acknowledge, the fight that happened before. We want to go and stay in this moment right here and go ahead and create whatever news, whatever message that we can possibly get going here now, because nobody's going to go back and look at anything. It's just bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
and this again, I forgot to announce the clip. That's Trudeau. There you go.
Right.
It's just, it's surreal.
I think it was Kennedy who said this. I might be wrong now that I say that, but let's just pretend it was Kennedy. I'll find out for sure. But the quote is, a man who does not know his history is destined to repeat it. And I used to think like, yeah, fuck yeah, that I'm going to be a history buff and I'm going to know history so that I don't make the same mistakes as my forefathers. But I'm actually now taking a quote as like a warning. Like it's a super prescient warning because we're living it right now. These people are either they don't know history or they're just bending it to their will. And so people are just able to justify ridiculous and abhorrent acts of character by saying, well, we're just going to twist the history over here and it's Russian disinformation. It's unbelievable. And it's like happening real time. This isn't some novel where we're like, oh my God, that would never happen. It's happening.
These were our allies in World War II.
Right. 100%.
Oh, there's a story floating around that Trudeau at the G20 a couple weeks ago, he couldn't leave his hotel room because he was coked out of his mind.
Yes.
Apparently, he's depressed. He's become despondent. Which he looked a little disheveled there. If I could throw another D in there,
I would agree.
He didn't look real good.
A little haggard. He looked more like Castro than Trudeau.
No,
if I may say,
he did. He just needs to grow the beard out. Wear some green camos like Zelensky. Throw a nice hat on.
The khakis. Yep.
Just own that shit. I mean, it'll be good for his. It'll be, and chicks like beards. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you.
His base will go ape shit for that. To be like, see, we knew it.
I'm hoping that's true. I'm hoping it's true. They're denying that it's true. I am hoping it is. I don't recall seeing him at the G20. Not that I was there, but I don't recall there being any news revolving around that. So, I hope it is. I hope he was coked out of his fucking mind.
Yep. Well, the fact that it got covered up so quickly kind of tells me it probably happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we wanted to do this week was kind of look at some other stuff than just diving into the news full on. We started looking at some of the other stuff that's out there, and I went back to Flipboard. This is a hard pivot, so you guys are going to have to keep with us. First ever supercomputer simulation predicts when humans will become extinct on Earth. So we've got the prediction. We can throw some Vegas money on this bad boy. And
I so want to put $10 down on this.
You got the over or the under?
Oh, the under.
The under?
Yeah, because you know why? Because this thing, it went off of the climate change models, which have been well documented that they're ridiculous. Yes. They don't take into account.
Yep.
Basically 90% of the energy the sun's throwing at us. They just take into account overblown, greenhouse gases and all that bullshit. So the fact that it based its whole equation off of false data, yeah, I totally want to put down. Fuck it, I'll put down $1,000 on this because it's dead wrong. I mean, it's dead wrong. And I'll definitely be on the under. We will kill ourselves way before the climate does. I mean, I'm convinced of that.
There's a couple of things I want to point out here. Look at the rudimentary writing in this.
It's article. Terrible. It's terrible. I barely got through this article, dude.
Okay, first of all, I didn't know we needed to write every sentence was a different paragraph. I think this was written by AI.
I think so too. I think so too. I think it thought that each of these sentences were a different thought, so it needed to start a new paragraph. I think you're right.
It's really, really strange. It's really, really strange. And the thought process in here is completely taken from the climate cult. Global temperature increase of 1.5 Celsius degrees and how it could wreak havoc on everyone. Due to the tectonic plates, continents would move all over the place and create a new supercontinent called Pangea Ultima. I like that they already have a name for it.
Well, Pangea was already a thing, so they had to add on hey, it's going to be Pangea again.
Yeah. Because we're that unoriginal. It's cool. The newly emerged supercontinent would effectively create a triple whammy comprising of continentality. Jesus, what is wrong with me? Effect: hotter sun and more CO2 in the atmosphere, of increasing heat for much of the planet. So this thing's going to come together. This continent's going to come together, and the sun's going to get hotter because of it. Fits. I had to go back and reread that like 10 times because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it makes zero sense. None. Zero.
Now, this is an article off of Unilad, which they're kind of goofy. I get that. But this is a bought and paid for article.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to read Unilad when they have some funny stuff occasionally.
Yeah,
but I don't want to ever read this again. I don't want to read anything like this again.
No, and what was funny is like this article caught fire. Mm-hmm. And like I saw it on 3 or 4 different platforms of people being like, well, all mammals will be extinct in 250 million years. Like you can't actually predict that. No. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying that all mammals will be around in 250 million years. What I'm saying is it's improbable. And the data you're using is completely erroneous. And so you actually have no fucking idea what you're talking about. No clue.
250 million years from now.
Why would we care?
Do
you care?
Everybody's getting work. No, I seriously don't. My family tree. I don't care one iota. We won't be on this planet anymore. It's not going to matter. And we'll probably blow ourselves up before then anyway. That's
what I'm saying. We will kill ourselves way before this ever happens. That's like 10 million generations from now. And yes. And if you believe the scientists, we've only had about 10,000 generations of humans. Well, of Homo sapiens. So you're talking about 10 million generations of we're going to little tiny brains floating around in UFOs by the time that happens. We won't be mammals anymore.
This is why it is crucial to reach net zero emissions as soon as possible, Fitz. Every sentence is a fucking paragraph.
Yeah.
I can't get past that.
I know.
And my kids write better than that.
Dude, so I'm with this new job. I don't know why I have to bring this up, but I just have to bring it up because I have to air out my dirty laundry. I'm the hiring supervisor for this position that we're hiring, and we got in 7 applicants. Seven resumes came in. Do you know that all but 2 of them had, and I will say serious grammatical errors. They're serious. Like one person actually misspelled their own name 3 times in the interview. In the resume. They misspelled their own name.
Wow.
One other person had basically every sentence that described what they did in their job was an incomplete sentence. So it was like, cleaned tables for an hour each day. There was no like I clean tables or, one of my duties was to. There was one that was I'm going to say 30 just as a low estimate of how many misspelled the words there were. And listen, I know everybody's not a good speller. I'm not here to be a grammar Nazi, even though I am one. That's not what this is about. What this is about is there's such a thing as fucking spell check that you have family members, you have friends, you have computer programs that will go through this shit and word it for you. There's online templates that you can use. You don't even barely have to change the wording. And then this is the shit we get turned in. I mean, of the 7 we got, I'm only going to interview 3 of them. Because the other ones, I'm like, you can't even fucking put in a resume that's solid. Jesus. So anyway, that just goes to, then you see an article like this, what we were just talking about, and you're like, it's not even, it's hardly English anymore. It's hardly an article that's worth reading because it's not the same language.
It I actually help my employees write resumes for other areas because part of my job, I want to make sure I'm developing them to go do other stuff. I don't want you to be stuck at an entry level. It gives me something to do. And that stuff drives me freaking insane. It always comes down to, okay, that, I get where you're going with that, but this is how I would write it. And then I rewrite it and it makes sense. And
it's almost
inexcusable. Not being taught. That stuff's
just
not being taught. Spelling
I know,
doesn't matter.
But you know what? There was a point in my life I didn't know how to do it either. And somebody gave a shit enough to pull me aside and be like, hey, this resume that you just turned in is dog shit. And I'm going to help you fix it. And where are those people? Generation X, like, let's unite here. Let's be the fucking resume Nazis. Let's teach these kids how to be professionals. My God.
But we're not going to do that because California school districts are considering removing honors courses for the sake of equity.
Yeah. Yeah, because why would you want someone to excel? That's ridiculous.
It's not an equitable thing. Either you want to work hard or you don't. Either you want it. Oh, God, go ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead. No, I didn't mean to cut you off, dude.
You're fine. This is nuts. This is California, though.
This also means that all basketball, football, volleyball, you name the sport, everybody gets to. I mean, everyone is on the team. Everybody who wants to be on the team is on the team. You're not going to have any excellence in anything ever again, because even if there is somebody who's naturally talented, even if a Michael Jordan does step on the court, he's going to have his knees broken by some idiot who shouldn't be on the court, who falls down and breaks our athlete because he's uncoordinated. Or you're going to have an artist who's drawing stick figures, and everybody at the art show, they all have to clap because everybody's equal. It's fucking insanity. I don't understand why we're so afraid of competition, why we're so afraid of pushing each other to be better, why we're so afraid of teaching someone skills that they might not have that will make them a better person. Why is that a bad word now? Why is that a bad concept? I don't get it.
I mean, if we're all mailing it in, we're never going to get any place. We're never going to build anything. We already don't have any we have very few engineers coming out of colleges. Mathematics, we're farming it out to other countries, and it's okay.
Mathematics is racist. Now, don't forget that.
Well, I forgot about that. Mathematics is racist. God damn it.
So you can't even say that word. You're gonna have to bleep that out later.
The Sequoia Union High School District's board discussed the move during a 6-hour meeting September 20th, but did not come to a decision on the matter. Arguing for equity, the analysis stated that eliminating certain honors courses and merging students taking advanced classes with those taking them at grade level would diversify the classroom and could improve academic outcomes for students who have historically experienced barriers. No, you should be spending time bringing up those students who've had barriers up to the level of the students that are in the honors classes. But we don't want to fucking do that.
No, it's hard work, and they don't know how to do it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody who's in special ed, but slowing the curriculum down or making accommodations is not how you make somebody smarter. I'm sorry. I will die on that hill. Prove me wrong. But on the other side of that, I have a quick story to tell. So I'm an individual through my work in the federal probation system. He is an absolute genius. I mean, certifiable genius, like a once in a generation type of genius. And he grew up in a small town in a school system that didn't challenge him in any way at all. In 8th grade, he fell in love with a girl. He found this girlfriend, and she was like super into, the ELF, the Environmental Liberation Front. So she was an environmentalist. She was super into it. They both became members of this local chapter. Somebody recognized his talent and literally recruited him right out of middle school. He went to high school for like 2 weeks of his freshman year. And after that, he dropped out, and they taught him. And he also taught himself through books and reading chemistry. He taught himself how to make bombs. And he actually was the person responsible for several big bombings, big media, coverage bombings. One in Aspen, Colorado, at the ski resort. If any of you remember that one, he bombed. He was responsible for making the bombs for a bunch of car dealerships that were selling big SUVs that were, gas guzzlers. He was responsible for bombing this was one that never really hit the front pages. And this is the one that he got actually arrested for and indicted for, but he blew up an Exxon Mobil oil refinery down in Texas. I mean, they had this guy flying all over the country to make these environmental statements, because he was completely unchallenged and just dying on the vine in school, that they could lure him. He's not a violent guy. In fact, he has major regrets and repents for everything he ever did. But they motivated him properly. They showed him that, hey, we'll teach you all this chemistry, explosives, electrical. I mean, he's just a fucking brilliant guy. He picked it all up instantly. So there's a risk when you aren't going to challenge. You're really smart. You're gifted. There's a real risk there that they're going to. I mean, idle hands find the devil's work, right? You have to be very careful with just throwing these kids back into general ed, because they're gonna. Listen, I'm not saying I'm a genius on his level, but I was fucking bored in school and I hated it. I barely made it through high school because I was so bored. I was bored to tears. I was doing everything but listening to the teacher. I was drawing, I was flirting, I was talking to other kids, and then the test would come up and I'd show up and I'd A on the test and I'd pass the class with a D plus or a C. That's dangerous. I could have easily gone another way if I didn't have good people in my life. So you can't just cancel these gifted classes and just say, hey, it's increasing the diversity in the classroom. Great. What happens when these people become the fucking Unabomber, man? Ted Kaczynski was brilliant, and he wasn't challenged. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox, but this is folly, if you ask.
How's that beer going?
Dude, it's fucking amazing. It's so it really is. It's been a while since I've gotten sexual with a beer, and it's because I feel like I've been sick for a little bit, but then also I just haven't had like one of those that's on par. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you could hollow out a pineapple and fuck it, I would absolutely, like, that's what this beer is. It's a hollowed out, fuckable, it's pineapple vagina. That's what this beer is. And I love it. And
vagina.
And she's talking to me and she's making love to me, and I love her back, and we're gonna get married. Oh, hi, Hefe.
Hey.
Welcome.
That's a hell of a thing to walk into. That's you got to bring some A+ content now after fucking a pineapple. Here, Hefe. How's it going, man?
Well, there's a girl sitting in my spot eating a sandwich, so I'm kind of pissed.
Jesus Christ.
Go up and talk to her. Is she cute?
Yeah, you can't. Does she know who I am?
Exactly.
Did you get your stickers this week? Give her a sticker.
Stick it right on her butt.
Ooh.
Literally, just walk up and say, "I'm El Jefe. I'd like you to stand up, please." Put that fucking sandwich down. Put that sandwich down and stand up. And then you just smack the sticker right on her butt.
Hey, since we got Hefe here, do you guys remember this?
Exposed a scandal involving a body donation business in Phoenix.
A place known as the Biological Resource Center, and a place with one promise.
Connects those who wish to donate their body to science with medical research and education facilities.
Turns out the donation was just the beginning.
The owner accused of selling bodies and body parts. A trial set to begin in just months. And tonight, new grisly details of what the FBI says really happened.
ABC 15's Nicole Valdez is live. And Nicole, this paints a Frankenstein-like picture.
Yeah, it really does. Katie and Steve, closed for years. This building off 24th Street and University doesn't look like much, but according to new claims in these court documents, the Biological Resource Center was essentially running a chop shop for human body parts, mixing, matching, and selling them in ways we'd never heard of until tonight. Described as unsettling, but it sounds a whole lot worse. One FBI agent revealing what it was really like inside the Phoenix body donation facility. In 2014, he saw everything from buckets of heads, arms, and legs to coolers filled with severed penises when the FBI raided the building.
Confused and angry. We thought this was going to be doing some good.
He even spotted a smaller head sewn onto a larger torso in a, quote, Frankenstein manner.
It wasn't a choice we made. It wasn't a choice any of the families made.
Body parts piled on top of each other inside Biological Resource Center, where families donated their loved ones for medical research.
Discoveries of sickness and disease, maybe come up with a cure.
Some say the company violated everything they promised.
Tragedy that's never resolved. And it just keeps going on and deeper.
The limbs, according to that agent, with no apparent identification. The company sued months after the FBI raided, families claiming their loved ones weren't treated with dignity and respect, a promise written on their own consent forms. The company also accused of selling body parts for profit after saying they'd only use the parts they needed and would cremate the ones they didn't and return them. A torso with a head apparently went for $2,400, a leg about $1,100. They'd even sell knees and feet alone for under $500. Now, the owner of the Biological Resource Center was already sentenced, but he was only given probation. He will be back in court in October.
How do you only get probation for that? How?
My God, I don't know.
This dude allowed people's families. Hefe, go ahead and unmute. How do you do that? You ruin people's lives. They gave you these bodies, right, for science, and then you turn around and do shit like that with them. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I want to be an organ donor after that.
No. I mean the small head sewn onto a bigger torso. I guarantee you they just did that for laughs. Like, the dude did it, and then he called it his buddies. They all got shit-faced and played poker, and they set that thing next to him, and it was one of the poker players. I guarantee it. Small face McGee just made another dumb bet.
All right, that made the beginning of the show.
And they had severed penises? What were they doing with that? Just slapping each other with them? What the fuck?
I want to know, first of all, who wants to buy just a leg?
Right. Or a foot?
and how do they find each other? Like, how does he find someone that wants to buy a leg?
Craigslist.
Well, there's that.
Right? I mean, right? Isn't that what Craigslist is for?
Yeah, rooms to rent. It's massage therapists and ankles to fuck. That's what you get on Craigslist.
Yeah. Have a foot fetish? Come to the Biological Resource Center. Dude, I can't imagine. I mean, I know we're making light of it. I know we're laughing, but I can't imagine being with the families of one of these people and you thought your loved one's pieces were going to help someone else. And then you find out that their left leg was sold for $1,100 and all you got back was a small pile of ashes.
Right.
What the fuck?
It's so jacked up. And this guy got probation. That's all he got.
Yep.
He made tons of bank off of this. Yeah. You know, just keep yourself clean. Don't do anything crazy. You go, go do
unbelievable.
God, that's Phoenix. We bag on everybody's city. We bag on everybody else's city, and we know it sounds terrible, but this is the kind of shit that you find in Phoenix. Oh my gosh.
I think that this is like, I mean, Phoenix has made it, right? I mean, we're big time now.
Oh yeah.
You guys are big time. You have had an actual human chop shop. and the guy got off. Like, that's the other part of it. Is like, if he'd have been sent to prison or like, you know, shot in a 21 gun salute or something, then like, okay, we took care of the problem, it's gone. No, he just got probation. He'll be back.
I'm sure he learned his lesson.
Yeah, a couple $1,000s in fines, and we're selling feet.
He's probably running a daycare someplace.
Oh God, don't say that. Because honestly, that's believable. It's definitely plausible. Yeah, we need to get to beer too. Let's milk the rest of Hefe's time though before he goes. Hefe.
Yeah, milk me.
I'd like to milk you. Wow, that sounded bad.
Rewind.
I would like to milk the time we have with you. That's not much better. How's the night going? How about that? Can we just switch to anything exciting happening?
Exciting. Not really. No, I'm butchering people. It's pretty bad.
Dude, I'll still never forget the night when I was like, "Hey, how's the night going?" You're like, "Well, I almost got in a fight at a roulette table." Like, that was the best moment on this show maybe ever. And I'm still waiting for you to just pop on and be like, "Yeah, dude, I totally punched a guy in the nose because he he was calling me a bitch." I don't know. I don't know what I'm expecting. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that was a good one. I don't know if it was the one I'm thinking of, but there was one where the guy, because the rule is the little dolly we put on the winning number that sits there until all the bets are paid.
Right.
When you remove that, then you can do whatever, you can place more bets or whatever. And he just kept jumping the gun and started putting his chips out there, and he was super drunk, which didn't help. And I kept telling him, you gotta wait. And I just kind of slide his chips back. And then the last time I just kind of pushed them all towards him, and he wanted to brawl, man.
I just think, I know you don't want to get fired, man. I get it, but I just think just punching that guy once would have been worth it. I'm just saying. And I know I'm the most militant of the three of us. I get it. Like, I'm militant. I want to fight people, but I just, because there's how many cameras in that casino, dude? It would have been captured on all of them. Like, and as they're walking you out, just be like, "Can I at least have the tapes? I want to show this to my friends. Can I at least have the tapes?"
Oh, those tapes are going to be all over the place. You absolutely know that. Absolutely.
Like that. Yeah, like that one, the naked Vegas guy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I would have loved to punch him in the face.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just have that percolating in the back of your head, so the next dickhead that shows up, you'd be like, "You know what would Fitz do?" And then smack, just bam, and I'm fired.
Make that your exit strategy.
Yeah. Let's win the lottery, and then you just keep showing up to work until one of those assholes shows up, and then boom, you already know you're taken care of, but you get to hit somebody on the way out.
I love this idea.
Me too.
Especially the lottery part.
Well, okay. So full disclosure, I did play the Powerball this week. I didn't win, but what I'm saying is I'm back in the game. I'm going to start playing again. So I will, of course, everybody, all of you will be the first to know when that happens. I mean, you'll know.
Were you close?
Oh, no, I didn't get one number.
So there's room for improvement.
Exactly. It's only up from here.
Did you practice?
Of course I did.
Practice harder because we gotta get the shit done.
Okay, I'm on it.
So, when are you gonna come down?
Hey, go down every night, sir.
Done.
Here's the deal: is you start a new job, and they have the 6-month probation thing. So I can't. Yeah. But I can't use any of my vacation. I can use sick time, but I can't use any of my vacation or anything until that 6-month probation period. But check this out.
I think you just said we need to come up and see you. I think that's what
that's exactly what I'm saying. Check this out though. When I get past my 6-month, I've never heard of this before. When I get past my 6-month, I get a 7% raise, automatic, just for completing my 6-month probation.
Nice.
I've heard of like 2 or 3%, maybe 5%. I get a 7% jump just for completing 6 months, which is, it's not gonna I'm not gonna be able to buy a yacht, but it will be significant. So anyway, and then plus then I can start using vacation. So, I want to start coming down and seeing my mom, seeing you guys, of course, and just making that more frequent. Because that time we had in Vegas, I keep holding on to it because we were all together, we were all being dumb. I do apologize for the sprint down the hallway in the hotel. But the slide ending, where I slid on my knee on the carpet, was totally worth it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I still have scabs from that. I don't know.
I feel like we should talk about that on the after show, actually. We can just kind of expand on that a little bit. Yeah. It's like behind the scenes for the AVN Awards.
You flew down that hallway so fast.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe you're at the end of the hallway. It was amazing.
Yeah, I actually couldn't believe it either, because when I started, I was like, okay, I have some runway here. And then all of a sudden there was a wall in front of me, and all I knew to do was to just let my legs fall out from underneath me and slide to a stop. I couldn't fathom stopping any other way. So
sounds painful.
That's how drunk I was. Well, not at the time.
Well, yeah.
No, oh God. And then I slept on the cold tile for a while, so that helped.
Yep.
Buttercup was talking maybe going up to Oregon. She said she wanted to go with me.
She should. There's you can't. I don't want to do the cliche thing, but honestly, I can't describe how beautiful it is up here. You just have to come see it. You guys know our friend, Mark Jones. He's a friend of your guys too. When he came up here the first time, he couldn't fucking believe it. He's from England. He's seen green, he knows weather, whatever, but he couldn't believe it. They come up here every summer now because he just can't get over how beautiful it is. It's just
I gotta go.
All right, brother. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, see you guys
later.
All right. Let's get in the beer too. So the last beer was successful. I really liked it. That was Cayman, the barrel-aged Imperial Porter. I haven't had very many Imperial Porters that actually turned out to be Imperial, right? You didn't get a lot of the richness.
Yeah.
It didn't really, it's a harder beer to kind of tie that to. I love how this one happened.
Yeah. The Imperial stouts seem to be easier to Imperial. I guess Imperial is not a verb, but that seems to be an easier beer style to infuse with, the fuckery that comes along with Imperialness.
Well,
but porters resist it somehow. I don't know why, but I'm totally with you on that. Is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No. Well, we've talked about porters also. They're the hardy beer that's supposed to last forever on the high seas.
Right.
That was one of the whole points of it. Now, the beer that I'm switching to here, you could kind of make an argument that it's close to being the same kind of thing, depending on how Hubbard. I have Hubbard's Cave. That's the brewery. Depending on how they actually approach this one, so I'm interested to see what they did with this.
Yeah, same.
This is everyday vanilla. I'm sorry, vanilla everyday, every DAE, one word. So you get kind of crafty there. And it's a 12%er. Now, this one's pouring way thicker. You get a nice big brown head on it.
We like them thick, bro.
Yep. This is way more oil-like.
Viscosity, like, I didn't really understand. Remember the old Valvoline commercials when they're like, yeah, it's got higher viscosity, and you're like, okay, right. I guess I want viscosity in my motor oil. But viscosity is like an actual thing in beer. Like you need to have the viscosity needs to match the style of the beer. Like if you were to have a super thick ale, you'd be like, what the fuck just happened? Why is this beer so thick? This is wrong. Right. Or if you were to have like a super runny stout, same thing. You'd be like, this doesn't match. So the viscosity has to match the style of the beer, and so it's a thing. It's totally a thing.
And what we're talking about is mouthfeel, right? We want this is a big, thick beer, malty, rich. I get a lot of vanilla up front, and then it tapers off and it goes back to just malt. I can't say that this is a super pleasant beer. I'm going to have to see how this one warms up. It is not boozy, though. So this is not a 12%er. So between the two, this Imperial Stout is way more porter-like than what I would have expected from a typical Imperial that we would normally get. So I'm interested to see how this one actually goes. It's good. Not amazing. It also has, I'm wondering if they aren't using some kind of vanilla extract, because it kind of gives me that, and I'm scarred for life on this. Yeah, I think it was the one from Ninkasi, the vanilla.
Yes, the Otis. Yeah, yep. Yep.
I'm gonna have to see how this one goes. It might just because it just came out of the can and it's cold, so we'll see. But it's a tough one. What do you have over there?
Well, I think, my first beer is definitely one that I'm taking to bed at some point. I don't know if it's going to supersede this one. This is from Nightmare Brewing. Nightmare, again, we've talked about it before, but their artwork on their cans it's just some of the coolest shit. I don't know if they have, I think they have a combination of like actual artists, and then they also use some AI stuff to come up with. This can it's actually creeping me out. And I know maybe it's the time of year or whatever, but this is fucking crazy. The name of the beer is called Again Kuan. So Kuan. Again Kuan. Yeah. So look at that. That's exactly what's on my can. Is like you're looking up a well, but there's all these demon skulls like fucking keeping you from getting out of the well. And the fire, and it's like you're trying to get out of hell, but you can't.
These are anyway. Those. I've seen all of those. Those were at the Phoenix Chop Shop. Those heads.
Is that the small head they put on the large torso?
Yeah,
that's gonna fuck with me for a while, dude. That's like Beetlejuice kind of shit.
Why did you followed up that article with this beer? Yikes. Okay.
Yep. Not intentionally. And also, I had no idea that this is a 15.6% beer. I literally did not.
Yeah.
But it is. And so here we go. I want everybody to make sure that your tray tables are in their upright, locked positions. Your seat backs are up and locked. Your seatbelts are on, because here we fucking go. Fitz is going for a 15.6 right after a 9.5, which he thoroughly enjoyed. I have not even had to touch my side bitch beer. Not once. I'm running on just show beers. Anyway.
So what he's saying is that if you look in insider chat later and he's exposing himself, I'm sorry. That's what it means.
Yeah. And what it also means is I'm not sorry. So this is an Imperial Stout brewed with masala chai spices, which I mean, look, I know I'm gonna catch shit for this. I don't care. I fucking love chai. I love the spices in chai. I love the vanilla flavors, the spices involved in it, and not because of Starbucks. I just like chai, and you can't even say chai tea because chai means tea. But anyway, masala chai spices, jaggery tea, and aged on India vanilla and masala chai spices. So this thing has been in a barrel for a while, just marinating on vanilla and chai spices, and this is so in my fucking wheelhouse. I can't even wait. It smells like fall in a glass, man. It's just, oh God.
Well, as the as she once said, put it in your mouth.
I am putting it all in my mouth.
All right.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, all right. This is definitely a fuck around and find out beer. You definitely know that this is a 15%er, 15 plus. There's booze on the front end. You get the chai spices, but then the really sweet vanilla on the end. I would say this is a dessert beer, except that as it's going down the gullet, it's actually spicy, man. It's almost like a jalapeno beer. I'm getting a burning, a warmth.
So what I'm thinking here, there used to be, and I can't remember the name of it right now. There used to be a beer that was brewed by Ballast Point. Is that right?
Ballast Point, yes.
Okay, and it was Indian.
I know the beer. Yes.
And
like that.
It tasted like there's curry in it. It was a super big imperial stout. It was very abrasive, but it was just absolutely wonderful. In this, you've got black tea, cinnamon, black peppercorns, nutmeg, allspice, cloves, fresh ginger, jaggery, and milk, sugar, lactose. That's where you're getting the decadence from. That's a beast. You're gonna have to sleep in your own room tonight.
Yeah, I might. This thing's a monster, and I'll tell you, it is penetrating me. It's penetrating me deeply with its spices. I am penetrated. I feel penetrated, and believe me, it's welcome. I'm liking every inch of it.
Agam Kwan, or the Unfathomable Well, in Hindi, is an ancient well located in Panth, India, commissioned by Emperor Ashoka 265 to 232 BC.
Jesus.
During his reign for torture, execution, intimidation, and disposal of his enemies. Legend states that it served as a portal to Patala, the netherworld, and Ashoka's own edict described it as hell on earth.
Well, all right. Welcome to Hell on Earth, everybody. I guess I just opened up Pandora's box and we all get to just reap the benefits. Oh wait, no, that's the WEF. My bad. That's not me. WEF already did that.
Yeah. Hey, I want to talk briefly on Arizona's governor disappearing.
Yeah, this was a weird thing because when I saw this at first, I shuttled it to you and Hefe. I was like, "Hey, have you guys noticed, or do you know that your governor is missing?" And the original stories that were coming out are not at all what we're hearing now. So
no,
we need to discuss that. So let's talk about this. Go ahead, dive in.
So Katie Hobbs, and this is I caught onto this. I think it was late Wednesday night. I think or late Thursday night, one of the two. I saw a press release from the treasurer of Arizona. And that's let's see, it's Christmas. No, it's Yee.
Something,
I can't remember her first
Yee.
name.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I can remember is Yee.
So she took over for the governor who was supposedly out of state overnight, or out of the country overnight. So she was in. So the The top officer was the treasurer of Arizona. Well, now fast forward to yesterday, and suddenly they had other people who were actually in control. The Secretary of State, who should have been the actual person taking over.
That's what I thought was second in command, right?
Yeah. Adrian Fontes was the acting governor while Hobbs was out of state. Well, Arizona Central, which is bought and paid for, is now saying that it did follow the proper hierarchy. And it still isn't explained why somebody else had to be in charge while Hobbs was not around.
Where was Fontes? Where was Adrian Fontes?
Well, apparently,
because
apparently he left the state. Hobbs supposedly was out of the state on a planned trip to Washington. Governors don't usually relinquish their power unless they absolutely have to. I mean, it's a succession thing. So it doesn't really make any sense. Now, this is also a state that has, we've got hardly any infrastructure. Nobody's running anything here. Hobbs can't get anybody through the state Senate, and she's actually pulled out everybody she was nominating because it can't pass our House. It's really, really strange. It's really, really strange.
So let me get this straight. The person who's in charge of a state,
correct,
succeeds her power to lead that state.
Right.
When she leaves that state. And I don't know why. I mean, in this modern day and age, I mean, we've all been a part of Zoom meetings, phone calls, texts, emails.
Yep.
You can communicate in any number of ways. What your wishes are, what your commands are. There's no reason that you need to secede or cede, I should say. You need to cede your power to someone else just because you left the state. There's absolutely no reason.
There's something else going on.
There is absolutely something else going on because, and the biggest clue to that is that the story we heard on Wednesday night has changed about 3 times now. So now we're at the point where no, Katie Hobbs was always in power. She never ceded the governorship. She just had other people making decisions for her. And she was just there for a routine checkup in DC to meet with, what was it, the Japanese or Koreans?
It was the DHS Secretary Mayorkas on border issues.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, yeah. So she was checking up on border issues. So, yeah.
I don't know.
We
She's
can go any
suspect.
Number of ways there. Yeah.
She is so suspect. There's a lot of talk about her getting indicted. I think Fox News jumped the gun on a story and said that she was being indicted because of her link to cartels. And I'm not going down that road. I'm not. Wait till somebody actually posts something that.
Well, sure.
Makes sense.
We're gonna take the high road on that one, which is rare for Whiskey Hell. We rarely take the high road because fuck everybody. But on this one, it's like, well, listen, there's a lot of allegations out there about her election, how she was elected.
Right.
What's her name? Carrie Lake.
Yep.
She's filed an actual injunction on the whole governorship because she feels like she was slighted somehow. So there's all kinds of controversy around Arizona politics right now, and it's fascinating to watch it from a different state because I'm invested in Arizona clearly, but also I can kind of detach from it and be like, well, I don't give a fuck because I'm up here now, and they can just have their own little circus, and it don't make no mistake, it is a circus. It's crazy.
Hey, Tupac's killer was finally caught.
Okay, all right, please. Why is this a story now?
What was it a diversion for? What
exactly.
What was it a diversion for? The last time the Cowboys were in the playoffs, the NFC Championship game was 1996. Just want to throw that out there. Sorry, Cowboys fans.
Sorry, Hefe. Ouch.
Well, it's weird.
Troy.
And this other guy, this Kef D, right? Dwayne Kef D Davis, who was actually indicted on it. He's even said that he was there before, but they couldn't pin it on him. Why are we suddenly why is this cold case suddenly a thing? What did this accomplish? No, I mean, if he killed him, okay, justice is served. All right, cool. Why now?
Yeah, that's my thing is like, why is this case even still open? I mean, I'm not saying that dead people shouldn't be avenged. I think every large city should have a cold case, group of people working on these old cases to try and, give some semblance of justice to the families. I would want that for my loved one. I would want that as a family member. But we're talking 27 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still working this case. There's still government money going to paying these people to work this case. And then number two, like, I think everybody is sort of settled into the fact that Tupac is gone, whether he's dead or whether he's living with Elvis on an island somewhere. But either way, he's gone. Why does this have to be dredged up again? Why are we?
Maybe they're really trying to get the use of his visage or whatever we're going to call that, his little hologram. Maybe we haven't seen his hologram in a long time.
That's true.
Maybe he'll maybe he'll get on the stand. His hologram will.
Hey, what about this? Just stick with me here. Tupac Shakur brought to you by Pfizer. Right? And then Tupac comes up and he's like, okay, I'm not gonna try and impersonate Tupac. But you put it in your own mind's eye, you put it in his how he talked, his cadence, his okay. But he basically says, hey, I'm Tupac, and I would like you to take the next vaccine, the next booster.
Oh God.
Because it's really gonna save you. And this is Tupac Shakur, and Mama.
Tupac on climate change.
Mama, I love you, and my mama would have absolutely taken this vaccine.
Oh, brought to you by Pfizer. Tupac brought to
you by Pfizer. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
so
plausible, right?
I don't see why not. I just want to point out the authorities, when they crashed this guy's house, authorities seized a Pokeball USB drive, an iPhone, 3 iPads, one with a cracked screen, 4 laptops, a tablet, a desktop computer, several internal hard drives, copies of the book Compton Street Legends, a Vibe magazine about Shakur, and 2 black tubs of photos, according to the search warrant. Why does this go into the story?
Black tubs? A Pokeball? Why do we need to know what kind of USB drive it was?
Oh,
it could have been a fucking dildo for all I care.
Just okay, hold on. A dildo with it's a USB drive? Think this through.
Oh, I have one.
You have a dildo with a USB drive on it?
Yeah. Doesn't everybody?
I'm gonna put.
Are you telling me
out.
you don't have a USB?
Out of all the toys in my house, there's not a dildo that I can plug into my computer. No.
Dude, you are so missing out. I can't even describe to you how awesome it is to see a giant dick sticking out of my computer. And I know that it's downloading stuff.
So how many terabytes is that bad boy?
It's 1 terabyte.
1 terabyte.
No. It's it's a 1T dildo. And then, you stick it places and you're like, you're getting effed by 1T. I mean, at least that's what I say.
Shout out to baseball fan who was denied entry into the Phillies game.
Dude, he was wronged.
That's bullshit. He should have been able to bring his emotion. It's an emotional support alligator.
He even has a T-shirt for it. He has a T-shirt on that says I don't know what it says actually, but it has a picture of a alligator on it. It says something about it is emotional support alligator.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't let him into the, what was it, Alabama?
No, it's the Philadelphia Phillies game.
Oh, Phillies game. Okay. I'm sorry. I just assumed Alabama because it's an alligator.
No. This is a hardcore Philly fan who is not able to bring his emotional support alligator into the ballpark. Wally, the alligator.
Dude, that thing's what, probably 5 foot? It's a 5 foot gator.
Yeah, he's adorable. There's like pictures of him holding it. Now I want to ask you something.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. No.
So
I just
we had this heartwarming story, which actually this was, well,
here's the thing, is I hope he at least got a refund for that.
Well, I hope he got a refund, and I would sue. At this point, why not sue? I mean,
yeah, it's my emotional support animal, right? It falls under the category of animal.
If he has a stroke, the alligator goes into action.
What does a stroke alligator do?
Whatever stroke alligators do. It
just pulls him. It just pulls him to like the nearest first aid counter.
It starts flipping around and getting attention so that somebody does something with Chuck here and puts him on his side so he doesn't, swallow his own vomit and stuff like that happens. It's very important.
Is there anything that would get your attention more than like basically a dinosaur dragging a corpse or like an unconscious body into a first aid camp? Like you'd be like, holy shit, that's a dinosaur. It just dragged this guy here. Something must be wrong.
Well, let's talk about unconscious corpses.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden's dog has attacked his Secret Service agents again. This is the 11th time that Commander has taken a swing at an agent. Like, he's biting agents. These are the guys who are supposed to be protecting the president.
Yeah.
And he's biting agents.
Dude, if this was like in any LA neighborhood or like, fucking Southie Boston, the dog would be put down, right? Like after the second attack, it would be put down.
Totally would. And I'm not saying that he should at all, because I'm sure he's unhappy being there. He's being a lich, okay, is taking care of him.
Yeah, right. That's an unhappy dog, of course. Like a wizard of necromancy is literally taking care of you. That's literally your owner. And you don't want that. Nobody wants that. Especially a dog doesn't want that. They can smell death, dude. They know.
Yeah. So, okay, we have dogs, and we've got some folks that are in the chat here. Oh, and just to call out Beard of Liberty, thanks for coming in, man.
Totally.
Dogs know shit. They have a sixth sense, period.
Yeah.
My dogs know when I'm not feeling well, right?
Oh, yeah.
They huddle up with you.
Yep.
This dog is on edge. 11 times he's bitten a Secret Service agent. There's something else going on. I'm willing to throw my hat on that tinfoil hat.
Oh, totally. Because, I'll trust a dog over a human any day. And I'll tell you what else. I mean, you can't tell me that all Secret Service agents are like bad, bad dog people. Like they're bad with dogs. No way. Maybe one, maybe two. But basically, if you're gonna go into that line of work, probably you're a dog guy. Probably you're a dog person. And you like dogs, and yet this dog is still biting you. There's issues.
So is the Secret Service trying to go after Biden? Is that the plan?
Dude, what if Commander
knows?
That's the dog's name. What if Commander is like sniffing him out? Is like, oh, dude, you're here to assassinate my dad. I'm not gonna allow it. I'm gonna bite you. You're fucked. Get out.
telling you, it's pretty strange. It is. It actually is pretty strange. This is
totally
a weird
one. This one is not one where you can be like, hey, stop it. Take off your tinfoil hat. You're fucking ridiculous. The dog would never. No. I mean, dogs know. They just know. We all understand that. Like nobody thinks they're smarter than a dog. When dogs can smell out cancer, they can tell their owners when they're about to have a seizure. They can tell their owners when they're about to go into diabetic shock. I mean, we train dogs to do these. They can tell.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that the dog, it doesn't know. It knows.
So we've kind of buried something that we should get to.
Did we bury the lead?
No, we didn't bury the lead. The lead was a lot of other stuff. I think we've covered a hell of a lot tonight. But yeah, I want to spend some time with Lindsey Graham and Elizabeth Warren. Can we do that?
Why?
Oh,
These
you know why.
People?
You know why. You know why.
Okay.
Listen to
All
this.
All right, play it.
Ask me, is it worth it? Here's what we've gotten for our investment. We haven't lost one soldier. We've reduced the combat power of the Russian army by 50%, and not one of us has died in that endeavor. This is a great deal for America.
You've previously said that it's the best money we've ever spent. That's still true?
Since we helped Churchill stand up to the Nazis.
We have to have confidence that the dollar...
I have not heard anything more vulgar, anti-American, honestly. We don't stand for that shit.
No.
And blatant disregard. It
Dude, you know what that was? That was like if you actually dissect that statement, that clip, that was probably one of the most racist things that's been said in the last,
it was awful,
100 years. Because he's basically saying we didn't lose any American lives, and it's completely disregarding any of the Ukrainian,
correct,
Polish, Belarusian, whoever has died over there in Ukraine. All that's important is that we didn't lose any American lives. All that's important is that we spent money and it was well spent because we didn't lose anybody. That is disgusting. I don't know why this person, why Lindsey Graham is still allowed to draw air. And I'm not condoning violence. I'm not saying go out and murder this guy. I'm just saying, why is he allowed to breathe the same air that the rest of us who are like generally good people and try and do the best we can in our jobs, in our lives, in our marriages, in our parenthood? We try and do the best we can. And this piece of shit is out there being like, yeah, we threw a bunch of money and it was really good money because we didn't die. What a fuck stick. What an absolute waste of human skin.
Well, the absolute contempt there, right? I mean, the absolute brazen, hey, we did a proxy war and none of our guys have died.
Right.
And we just funded it. It was the best money spent.
Yeah. Good.
We had two forces, two states, okay, Ukraine versus Russia. We got to go ahead and orchestrate them beating the fuck out of each other, and it achieved all of our goals. Again, going back to saying the quiet things out loud.
Right. Is that so? We talk a lot about the narratives on this show, right? The narratives that quote unquote they want you to believe, and then the narratives that we try and sort of unearth. But is that the new narrative, which is it's okay to say the quiet parts out loud because the narrative is you need to just toe the line? Like I can say whatever I want, but you still need to make sure that you're being a patriot, that you're doing the American thing, even though I just said some really fucked up shit.
Well, you had something that you found this morning Let me go grab it. Oh,
did
here
I?
we go. Yep. I didn't throw this into the dock, but let's go here.
Okay. Hey, before you play that, real quick, if on a personal level, and this kind of goes out to everybody who's listening right now, I know we're all very diverse, which is it's one of the most kick-ass things about the fans of this show, the people who listen to this show week after week, is we are all so diverse, and yet we can all come together on some common things. I think we have some liberal-leaning people who listen to this podcast. We have some conservative-leaning people who listen to this podcast. And we have some people who are just straight down the middle and just want to fucking get through their day, but they want to know what's going on. We have a vast array. But if I were to ask you personally, and I'll ask you, McShane, what's the best money you've ever spent? Like you spent a certain amount of money and you were like, shit, I got more than my value out of that. What's the best amount of money you think you've ever spent in your life?
Wow. It's any of the trips with my family, new experiences with the family. I couldn't name one specifically.
Okay. No, but that's money well spent, right? Because you remember every moment of that experience.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Whatever the cost was, you're willing to spend it. I have several. All of my trips, obviously, to foreign countries, not a penny was wasted. I will say though, bang for my buck, the best money I've ever spent has been on my martial arts training. Like if I had to spend 10 times what I've spent to get the training I've gotten and the change it's made in my life, I would spend it because it's worth it. Like it creeps through and invades every other part of my life. And I guess my point is that when we think about the best, quote unquote, best money we've ever spent, it's personal. It's like I got value out of this thing that was more than what I spent. And so I would spend it again. So it's very telling when a person like Lindsey Graham gets up there and he says the best money we ever spent was that we didn't lose any of American lives, and yet we made Russians lose their lives. That's a profound fucking statement. I mean,
oh yeah,
none of us would be like, well, the best money I ever spent was because that other dude died. We would never say that. And yet this asshole,
and this should haunt him. This should be played every time every election.
Absolutely.
Every time he says anything, this should be echoing. It should be this guy. He should not be allowed to lead anything, but yet it's okay because he's the mouthpiece for whoever's putting money in his pocket. This guy is a weasel. This guy is a piece of shit. He's lower than dirt. He is the absolute worst. And that's saying a lot because there's a lot of shitty individuals up there. But this guy, he plays both sides of the coin. He's an absolute waste.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, thanks for saying that in like a much more succinct way. I had to tell a whole story about it, but no, that's exactly my point, is that he is just a two-faced, no, he's a fucking 80-faced liar. He'll just say what we want to hear so he can get more money to do the shit he wants to do. Fuck that guy. Anyway, let's play this. Yeah, let's play this clip. Yeah.
Here's the WF. And this is, what's her name? Mazzucato?
Oh,
Mariana Mazzucato.
Yeah.
That's also, of course, true with COVID, right? We are all only as healthy as our neighbor is on our street, in our city, in our region, in our nation, and globally. And did we solve that? Like, did we actually manage to vaccinate everyone in the world? No. So highlighting water as a global commons and what it means to work together and see it both out of that kind of global commons perspective, but also the self-interest perspective, because it does have that parallel. It's not only important, but it's also important because we haven't managed to solve those problems which had similar attributes. And water is something that people understand. Climate change is a bit abstract. Some people understand it really well. Some understand it a bit. Some just don't understand it. Water, every kid knows how important it is to have water. When you're playing football and you're thirsty, you need water. So there's also something about really getting citizen engagement around this and really in some ways experimenting with this notion of the common good. Can we actually deliver this time in ways that we have failed miserably other times? And hopefully we won't keep failing on the other things, but anyway.
So that's the WF, and that's admitting that they failed on the COVID restrictions and not getting everybody actually vaccinated. And climate change, nobody really gets, so there's not a really emergency.
It's too abstract.
It's not really that. Well, yeah, it's too abstract. And people, there's actual people that can contradict every fucking thing that the bot scientists are putting out.
Right.
But now we're going to go down the road of we need to go back to the roots. What is the one thing that unites us all, and that people will die of more quickly? Dehydration.
Water.
Dehydration. We got to do that. Even though we've got plenty of examples all over the world where there's no real water issues. Yes, Africa struggles. Yes, clean water is a struggle. Absolutely. But if we wanted to go and do something about that kind of stuff and make sure that we're doing things that are actually that are creating clean water, different kinds of filters, wells, all that kind of stuff, that's fine. But you don't take that issue and then connect it to other control points like COVID or climate change. You don't do that.
No.
All that screams is, well, we got to roll something else out there.
Yeah. No, I mean, and this is kind of a, I guess, canary in the coal mine type of situation. I mean, if we start seeing in the next 6 months, even year, where major water issues keep coming up, well, you heard it here first, or you heard it in this WEF forum, which, I mean, look at these fucking people. Look, fuck all of you for wanting to be part of the WEF.
And to be fair, this was from a year ago, right? So the whole check show
right.
notes, the whole YouTube clip is in there. This is from a year ago. But again, going back to the saying the quiet part out loud, right?
Yeah. So if we start having drought issues all over the world, I mean, for sure there's drought issues in Africa. We all know those are real. We all lived through, what happened in Ethiopia.
Yep.
And what's happening now in West Africa.
Yep. And Australia.
India, Australia. Yep. South America, there's portions that are going through severe droughts. And then you have, then you have New York City, who is inundated with too much water. That's not climate change. That's just changing weather and patterns that move all across the earth, and different parts will get rain at different times. I mean, it's well documented that the Sahara used to be a very lush, very green rainforest, a jungle. Most of Egypt was a jungle, and now it's not. That's natural machinations of the earth and of climate and of the precession of the stars and the sun. That shit just happens, and we're in the midst of a change in all that, and people have always had to deal with that, have always had to cope. The great flood of Moses, that was an actual thing. We dealt with it, we moved on, and here we are. So for her to come out and say, hey, the coming drought is going to be the big problem, water issues are going to be the big problem, if that starts happening, just know that it's planned, that it's a media cycle, that it's something to get you up in arms and to be worried about, and not something that actually is going to affect your life. And if it does affect your life, then you'll do what humans have done for thousands of years, which is you'll migrate to a place that has more water. I mean, I'm telling you right now, we're not going to have water problems up here in Oregon or Washington State or even Idaho, Northern California. We have plenty of water every year. The snowpack is bigger than it's ever been. So there are places that will have plenty of water. Other places won't. That's what happens. That's weather.
All right. Fitz, how much beer do you have left?
Oh God. This being a 15%er, I have about a half a beer left, to be honest. I've been sipping because I didn't want to go off the rails too much before the end of the show. So I've been pacing myself. So about a half a beer, but don't let that, change what you're thinking here.
All right. I want to go. I want to wind things up because I want to go down Conspiracy Row and have something fun for our Patreons. I want to talk about October 4th in the after show.
Oh yeah. October
that okay?
4th, Wednesday. Yes, let's do it.
All right. I promise you guys we'll get that out like real fucking fast. I'll get it out there. What beer are you taking to bed, Fitz?
Shit. I feel like too often I do the threesome thing, and that's just overdone. So I'm not going to do that tonight.
All right.
Honestly, tonight, I'm taking home the fruity, playful, sensual, fruity IPA that I had, the Voodoo Ranger fruit IPA. I'm taking that one to bed tonight because she was playful. She was a pineapple that I could like get deep into, really just, mash my teeth into, get my beard wet, as it were.
Tongue deep,
right?
balls deep.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just eating until I was full.
All over your mouth. Yep.
Yeah, all over
Gushing.
everything. Yeah. I mean, just flood me. This second beer, this one from Nightmare Brewing, this one is one that's going to obviously put me to bed and knock me out for maybe the next 48 to 72 hours, right? I mean, I'm this thing's a monster. And it's the girl that like you see from across the way and you're like, she's kind of scary. And then she like approaches and she's like, "Hey, do you want me to fuck you in the ass?" And you want to say no. You want to say no, but you can't. So I'm not taking her to bed tonight, but she's definitely, I'm getting her number and I'm going to call her. I'm going to call her tomorrow.
It's a pegging beer?
Yeah. This is God. That's exactly what this is. This is the night when you want to just you want to be taken. Right? You don't want to be the taker. You want to be taken. That's this beer. And that's not tonight for me, but it might be tomorrow or next week or whenever. But the good thing about the dominatrix is she's always on call. And so you can call this girl whenever you want and she'll be like, "Okay, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Have the fucking money ready cuz I'll be there in 15 minutes." So that's a really long drawn out way to say I'm taking the fruit IPA to bed, but I'm keeping the Nightmare Brewing beer. It's on speed dial. She's on speed dial because sometimes you just need a really good fucking. What about you? What are you taking to bed, McShane?
I'm gonna keep it. I'm taking Puhala's, Kieran, Kamen.
Okay.
The barrel aged Imperial Porter. Right, it is not pegging me. It's just a really nice beer to put in my mouth. It is still a nipple sucking beer. I will reiterate that.
Yes.
Just like the very beginning of the show there. So, fantastic beer. I highly suggest finding anything by those guys. They kick ass. So.
Oh yeah, phenomenal.
We're gonna do the after show live with everybody who's in chat. If you guys want to stick around, we want to get into this one bit. So if you are listening and you want to join our Patreon, do it. You'll hear stuff like this I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz. Love every one of you. Thank you all for being in chat tonight. As always, you add so much to the show. We really, I can't imagine the show before you all were here in chat. How did we do it with just you and me, dude? I mean, yes, Hefe would jump in, but
it was fun,
just like,
but it wasn't nearly as fun as what it is now.
And not as interactive, right? Like this is so great. So anyway, thank you all for being here. I can't believe you all keep showing up every week, but goddamn, we don't want to disappoint. So we're just going to keep showing up and doing the best we can. Thank you all for showing up. You guys are awesome. So yeah, love you all.
We'll talk to you soon.